just to pick up a couple of issues. Thanks very much, Liz, for referring to our humble efforts to do some research around iMatter. And maybe to flesh that out a little, I think one of the things that struck myself and my team when we spoke to more than 100 people working in NHS and social care, we were kind of expecting staff to be pretty sceptical and to say, you know, yet another engagement exercise, yet another survey. And what came out very strongly from those 100 and more engagements was that rooting iMatter at the line, rooting it in the relationship between teams and their line managers was absolutely fundamental. It was really a game changer, because rather than it being a pointless survey exercise, it became something that you sat down with your team and your line manager and drove action. I want to come back to you on that a bit, Liz, but first maybe Anna, from your own research, I know you've done lots of research on driving innovation in the workplace. How important is this idea of not just line managers being important to this process, but line managers and their teams buying into the idea that this is about action and change in the workplace?
Yeah, thank you very much, Colin. I totally agree that this is very important, and research has actually also shown that when you engage line managers and their teams in change management projects, whether it's been innovation or HR or whatever, that they are more enthusiastic and engage much more into the project. I think we need to distinguish between different implementation journeys. So there's top-down implementation, where an innovation is decided upon and then it's just implemented, like everybody has to use it. But there's also bottom-up innovation, or also change management projects, where people in the team, employees actually say, well, we need a change, we need something else, we want to work differently, and then develop something bottom up. And I think with both approaches, it's very important that you engage people in these decisions and make it, because we know from the innovation research, but also change management and strategic management, that it's not just pushing the button and new innovations or HR practices are used. It's really a process where people need to engage in it and need to, it's about the usage, that you need to translate it, to understand it, to accept it, and try to play with this. We've actually done some research on human resource management, where they used the technology enhanced HR practices and with the use of an iPad. And what the organization has done, before they actually have launched all the different apps on the iPad, they have provided employees already the opportunity to just play with the iPad, put some games on it, play with it, try it out, see what works, what doesn't work, and this part is a very important process. Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. I mean, Liz, can you maybe spend a minute just talking more about actions in the extent, because as I was saying, it's not just that iMatter is rooted in the relationship between line managers and staff. What came across very strongly to us is this laser-like focus on action, on doing stuff, and that was really what got staff to buy into this process.
Absolutely, and I think that's true. I don't think that happened at the beginning. So we obviously went live in January 2015. I think we discussed it internally and with yourselves, and had external views, that I think 2019 was a real moment of beginning to feel that we'd actually managed to get some roots down. And that, I think, came from the creating of advocates. But a huge amount of that was about trust and people actually believing that they could feel the difference. And that's the question that we now are interested in. So what difference is this making? So when teams are asked that, and seniors, when the Cabinet Secretary goes out to do the annual reviews, she's adopted these questions. So what difference is it making? Yes, there's a set of stats and a percentage of response rate, percentage of their action plans, but actually really more interested in what difference has it made. At the NHS event last year, we had 5 storytellers. One of the stories was Liz Skelly and Alison White, both clinicians. It's quite unheard of, really. It's growing, but initially clinicians didn't buy into really much of this stuff at all, you know, because at the end of the day, they're there to do the surgery, the medical element, etc. But you will see Liz Skelly, who's the narrator, is a clinical consultant in emergency medicine, and both her and Alison White, her colleague, really drove that, and she took the team. So I think it's not about us, it's about them. It's about they then tell each other and they get each other to believe, and they share their stories. They bring them into their department. They are so honest about how dysfunctional they felt and were. And now they are the top performing emergency medicine team in the whole of the UK. That has taken years and years of work, but it's actually taken years of innovation, creativity, honesty, trust and confidence that things will actually get better.
That's great, thanks so much, Liz. Another point that struck me that connects these two discussions is about the need to build a business case, essentially, and to get the resources to do this stuff well. You can't magic it up, you've actually got to invest in it. Liz, I'm sure you have many battle scars in trying to secure the resources to get something like iMatter off the ground. And I'm sure, Anna, you must have worked with many organisations where, again, you need to build a strong business case to say, rather than investing in infrastructure or tech or something else, all managers want resources for their investments. Why invest in this? What are some of the kind of powerful business cases that you've seen be made in order to get the resource to get this stuff done effectively?
Is that for me now?
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Yes, it's. I think here we also need to distinguish between top-down implementation and bottom-up implementation, because once management has decided this is an innovation that we want to implement in the organization, then budget is usually not a big issue. However, if it's something that employees develop based on their work and employees line managers support it. What I've also seen in organizations is that line managers ask their employees to write a business case first in order for them to share the information within the organization. And that's rather, that can be a very difficult process, because innovation is something which is something that people usually do. It's not part of the job description. It's something that you do because you like it, and then to write a business case next to your day-to-day engagement is quite a strong issue. And I think also Liz talked about this, that what organizations also do with bottom-up innovations is these idea boxes where they ask people to provide innovative ideas, and then they are checked or they are discussed and they never hear anything about this. But there is also a big issue there, that people are afraid to share innovative ideas in organizations because they feel that people think like, are you stupid? Are you what is this now? Like, it sounds so different from what I've heard, and people get scared about different things, doing work differently, and are of course also scared that their work is becoming redundant. And the other thing is that people steal their ideas actually and promote them as their own. So yeah, indeed, many innovative ideas are stopped because of these business plans that need to be written to make it valuable. And you see that people with more experience, with more strategic positions within the organization, with greater budgets, more political power, have an easier position to implement innovative ideas within an organization.
Thanks so much. Happily in academia, we never steal each other's ideas, do we?
No, luckily.
Liz, maybe just to close off our discussion, again, I really want to reiterate to our audience just how radical a transformation iMatter was from the very centralized, very non-responsive engagement strategy that preceded it. In a couple of sentences, I guess I'm asking, how did you do it? What was the business case that was offered to senior managers to invest in such a radical transformation?
When I first came into post, I was presented with already objectives that had been written. And then from probably my first day in post as project manager, now as programme lead, my personal drive and passion, first and foremost, to find like-minded people, for people that had a passion around making a difference, and I think constantly then building on that. What have I learned in 11 years? That actually the voice of the staff are the people that develop the business case. Yes, we have particular formats and tables that we need to go to and doors that we can knock on. I've learned to become Oliver or Olive, whatever, Olive probably, and to go with my begging bowl and to say, please sir, can I have some more? I have no issues in doing that, but when I do it, and I will never do it until I'm absolutely convinced that I've taken the voice of the staff with me. They're not there, but they're certainly in spirit. It's not the first time that I've actually brought a few of them in to you know, actually be part and to place them at the front of why this is a good idea, why it needs to continue to build. Our latest Pulse survey, we've been given 2.5 months to develop that. Today we're sitting at, or this morning, we launched last Tuesday, we're sitting at 45,000 responses, 23%. So, you know, we got 62% for iMatter last year. It'll be interesting to see what we get. So I think at the heart of everything we've done is our staff. And if we sway away from that, the business case will never, ever be approved.
We have come to the end of our time. I really want to thank our three speakers, Anna Bosnells, Liz Riley, Suzanne Thomas from our two organisations. As I was saying, this is very much, this format, I guess, is very much at the heart of what we want to achieve with Propel Hub, which is to bring together the best researchers who are doing cutting edge business and organisation facing research with innovative managers who want to engagement and innovation in the workplace. And I think there are great opportunities to share ideas and learn lessons together. And hopefully this first masterclass webinar has achieved just that.